Hey everybody, welcome back to Conversations Worth Having with Kai and Tara. Tara and Kai. As you can see, Tara is not with us today because we're still trying to figure out the 10-hour difference that we have. She is resigning all the way in California, San Diego area, and we moved to Estonia for a few years. And so I want to welcome you if you're new. And before we get started on our subject today, I want to take this moment to please invite you to subscribe to our channel. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram for important updates, and iTunes. And our podcast is called Conversations Worth Having. I am working on becoming a better podcaster because honestly, you guys, I am not super tech savvy when it comes to editing, but I promise you by probably the 60th episode, we will be so much better with our editing process and everything that follows that. So I want to go ahead and get started on our subject today. And we're going to continue with episode 2, and we're going to talk about beauty over 40, self-love before the world's approval. I'm going to go back a little bit in what I was talking about part 1, and I'm going to ask you the same type of question, which is, have you ever wondered what beauty really is? More than 2,300 years ago, the ancient Greek philosopher Plato, who lived around 427 to 347 BC, before Christ, explored that very question in his work Symposium. Through the teachings of Socrates and Diotima, I'm sorry if I'm saying it wrong, he suggested that physical beauty is only the beginning. The highest form of beauty, he believed, is found in wisdom, character, goodness, and the way a person chooses to live. And I would want to add to that your beauty can really be measured by how you make people feel when they're in the room with you. If you make people feel stupid, inadequate, you make fun of their, let's say, accent, or that they're foreign, or that they're different from you, then first of all, shame on you. And second of all, how you make that person feel in the room when they were in the room with you says so much more about you than it says about them. So let's keep on continuing here. I find it so fascinating that thousands of years ago, people were already asking questions that still matter today. Somewhere between ancient Greece and the world we live in now, we've allowed beauty to become something we purchase instead of something we become. Last week, we did speak about accepting ourselves in a culture that profits from insecurity. Today, I'd like to go a little bit deeper because I don't think acceptance is where the journey ends. I think acceptance is where the journey begins. The goal isn't simply to accept yourself. The goal is to genuinely love the person you've become. And as my 40th birthday is approaching this year, I can tell you that something about the big 4-0 makes it so much harder to love yourself because we are constantly, as women, being fed that you need to have thicker hair, thicker eyelashes, thicker eyebrows, you need to have flawless skin. It's all a bunch of BS. Okay, who is really benefiting from all the doubt that's been fed to us? Who is benefiting? Always ask yourself that question. I don't know about you, but I think many of us have spent far too much of our lives looking outside of ourselves for approval. We ask whether people like us, whether we still look good enough, if we're worthy, if we're loved, if we're successful enough, interesting enough, or attractive enough. It's exhausting, honestly, because the answer is always changing depending on who's looking. If you build your self-worth on someone else's opinion, you'll spend your life chasing something that keeps moving further and further and further away from you. That's no way to live. As I've grown older, I realized something I wish someone had told me years ago. And I'm going to tell the younger listeners this too, and the older ones, and my age listeners. So please take note of this. The relationship I have with myself, the relationship that you have with yourself, is the most important relationship ever. I wake up with myself every morning. You wake up with yourself every morning. And I go to sleep with myself every night. And you go to sleep with yourself every night. So why would I spend those years speaking to myself more harshly than I would ever speak with someone I love? Somewhere along the way, we've accepted the idea that being kind to ourselves is selfish, while criticizing ourselves is somehow humble. I don't believe that anymore. I think self-love is one of the most honest things we can practice, not because we believe we're perfect, but because we finally understand that perfection was never the assignment. Living was, learning was, becoming was. And I want to add something here. I want you to do this exercise that I've done through tons of therapy and self-love. And currently I'm working on tread therapy as well as somatic therapy. I've had 2 sessions with somatic therapy, and I can show you some exercises moving forward on how much it really helps your nervous system. But I want you to do this thing for yourself today. I want you to take out a piece of paper and a pen, and I want you to sit down with just yourself. Get away from the kids, get away from the hustle and the puzzle. If you have chickens, ducks, if you're in a very city area, close the windows, maybe put on some nice jazz music, whatever floats your boat. Write yourself that love letter. Dear so and so, dear Kai, dear you, I'm so grateful for you to have this kind of courage to be able to do XYZ. I remember when we got, however you want to write that love letter, talk to yourself like you would talk to with the love of your life. All right, let's move forward. Let me know how that works out, by the way. One of the greatest privileges in life is growing older. Not everyone gets the chance. Every birthday, my birthday's coming up, super excited, is a reminder that life has continued to choose us. That's not something to fear. That's something to celebrate. I refuse to see another year on my face as evidence that I'm losing something. I choose to see it as evidence that I've gained something. More perspective, more confidence, more compassion, more understanding of what really matters. I'm about to turn 40, and something really unexpected is starting to begin to happen. It's really fascinating, actually. I'm starting to stop trying so hard to fit into other people's expectations, and I've started paying attention to my own expectations of myself. Things haven't been always easy, and it wasn't that I suddenly had all the answers. It was that I finally began asking better questions. Instead of asking, do they approve me? I started asking, do I approve of how I'm treating myself? That single shift changed so much because I've been constantly abandoning myself to gain acceptance from other people, including and not limited to family and acquaintances and friends. Eventually, I lost sight of who I really am. And in addition, advertisers understand something about human nature. They know that if they can make us doubt ourselves enough, we'll keep searching for the next thing that promises confidence. But confidence has never lived inside a bottle, a cream, or a treatment. Confidence is built every single time you keep a promise to yourself. Every time you honor your values, every time you stop speaking to yourself with cruelty, because it's cruel to put yourself down. Those moments don't make headlines, but they quietly change a life, your life and mine. The older I become, the more I admire women who are comfortable in their own skin, not because they've stopped caring about themselves, but because they've stopped allowing the world to decide how they should feel about themselves. There is something incredibly attractive about someone who has made peace with who they are. It's a quiet confidence that can't be bought. Filtered, it cannot be filtered, it cannot be manufactured. It's the confidence of someone who knows that her value has never depended on looking younger, It has always depended on being fully herself. And here's another hint for the people pleasers like myself. Serve your plate first. If you make that dinner, you better make sure your plate is served first, because if people have hands, fingers, a brain, they can serve their own plate. You do not have to serve everybody. You need to serve yourself. Before we finish today, I'd love to leave you with 3 simple practices that you can start today. Not only do I want you to write yourself that love letter, but I want you to make sure that you're kinder to yourself. The first is to become aware of the way you speak to yourself. Listen to your inner voice for just one day. If you catch yourself saying something to yourself that you would never say to your best friend, stop. Change the sentence. Instead of saying, I look awful today, try saying, I'm grateful for another day to live in this beautiful life. I'm grateful. Give yourself a huge hug like this. If you're on YouTube, you can see me. Huge hug. I'm grateful that my body has taken me to places that are so incredible. It might feel unfamiliar at first, but your words matter. The longest conversation you'll ever have is the one you have with yourself. Please, please make it a kind one. Do one thing this week simply because it brings you joy, not because it earns approval. Wear the bright lipstick. Take yourself out for coffee or tea. Walk by the sea, walk in the woods, walk in nature. Read the book that's been sitting on your bedside table. Dance in your kitchen while dinner is cooking. Whatever it is, let it be something that reminds you that your happiness doesn't need permission. And lastly, make those tacos for dinner and don't apologize for loving your life. I truly believe beauty begins to change the moment we stop asking the mirror to tell us who we are. The mirror can only show us our reflection. It cannot show our courage. It cannot show our kindness, and it cannot show the resilience of our wisdom. Resilience or our wisdom, excuse me. Those are the things people remember about us long after they've forgotten what we've looked like. Before we say, see you later, I'd like to leave you with one final thought. If Plato were sitting across from us today, I don't think he'd ask how young you look. I think he'd ask whether you becoming the person you were created to be. Are you living with integrity? Whether you're growing in wisdom? Are you treating yourself with the same kindness you so freely offer everyone else? And maybe that's what beauty has always been, how you make other people feel when they're around you. It's not about chasing perfection, hiding your age, not earning approval. You just need to simply become more and more fully yourself. Thank you so much, you guys, for spending this time with us today with me. If this conversation found you exactly where you needed it, please share it with another woman who may be learning to see herself through kinder eyes. And until we're together again, which is next Thursday, remember this. The world doesn't have to approve of you for your life to be absolutely beautiful. Your own acceptance is where real beauty begins, and your own love is where it truly comes alive. Thank you everyone for being here today with us, with me. I am so grateful for you. And I really want you to learn to love yourself. Put your hand on your heart. Listen to the heartbeat and become your own best friend. This is Conversations Worth Having with Kai and Tara. Until next time, please follow us on Spotify, Instagram, YouTube, and iTunes. We're so glad that you're here. You make this world a better place. See you next time.